Most churches today assemble on Sunday for worship and religious instruction. But when God gave the 10 Commandments to Moses, he specifically told Israel that the seventh day is the Sabbath, a sacred day for rest and worship. Many Catholic theologians claim that the early church moved the Sabbath to the first day of the week, while most Protestant theologians say that the death of Jesus abolished the Old Testament and the law of Moses. As a result, Protestants now voluntarily choose to worship on Sunday to commemorate the resurrection of Jesus, but they are not observing Sunday as a holy Sabbath day. Luke's Gospel offers us an opportunity to test these different claims. Most conservative scholars believe that Luke wrote his Gospel between 58 and 63 A.D., decades after the death of Jesus. That would have been plenty of time for Sunday observance to become well established in the early church. Furthermore, Luke wrote his Gospel and the book of Acts while he accompanied Paul, the apostle to the Gentiles, on his missionary journeys throughout the Hellenistic world. Therefore, one would expect Luke to clarify important facts about the gospel for Jewish and Gentile believers. Luke mentions the Sabbath in connection with the death and burial of Jesus. Luke chapter 23, verse 55 says, "The women who had come with him from Galilee followed and saw the tomb and how his body was laid. Then they returned and prepared spices and ointments. On the Sabbath they rested according to the commandment." Luke chapter 24, verse 1 also says, "But on the first day of the week, at early dawn, they went to the tomb, taking the spices they had prepared. And they found the stone rolled away from the tomb. But when they went in, they did not find the body of the Lord Jesus." If the church had moved the Sabbath to Sunday or abolished it outright, we would expect Luke to say that the women rested on the seventh day according to the law of Moses. Instead, he still refers to the seventh day as the Sabbath, as if nothing has changed. Clearly, the women still considered the seventh day to be the Sabbath at that time. But Luke is writing his account decades later, and he is still calling the seventh day the Sabbath. Furthermore, if the church had moved the Sabbath to Sunday or abolished it outright, we would expect Luke to say that the women went to the tomb on the Lord's Day. Instead, he still refers to Sunday as the first day of the week, as if nothing has changed. If the church had moved the Sabbath to Sunday or abolished Sabbath observance, it would have generated a massive controversy between Christians and Jews in the first century. We would expect the pages of the New Testament to be filled with references to debates and riots over this topic. And we would certainly expect Luke to make some kind of comment about that in this passage. But he doesn't. The fact that the entire New Testament is completely silent on this point is either a massive oversight or it is confirmation that nothing had changed. Granted, this is an argument from silence, and an argument from silence is usually invalid unless the missing evidence should be there, which is the case here. It is much better to build an argument from the presence of evidence, not the absence of evidence. And on that score, the New Testament does provide positive examples of the early church teaching and keeping God's Sabbaths. but that is a subject for future videos on the Torah in the New Testament.